Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. This is the Earth Angel Experience podcast, season 2, episode 1. I am just so happy on this wintry blizzardy day, but it's all good. I'm waiting for my special guest to appear. I hope everyone is doing well. Hello everyone for tuning in. Happy snow day here if you're in the East Coast. I'm just super happy and excited that despite the weather, despite the storm, season 2, episode 1 is here of the Earth Angel Experience podcast, and it's just been a dream, and I'm just so happy it's resonated with everyone. Hello, I'm gonna send you guys waves. Hello, I'm just waiting for my guest to arrive. Hi guys, let me know where you're from. Where are you calling from? If you're far, if you're near, if you're local, just let me know so I can send you guys shout outs. Super excited. Let's see where our special guest is. So we actually interviewed Juan many months ago. So I would say, I think May of last year. So we're having him back as our first guest, and it's just going to be an amazing episode. So thank you. Hello, Juan. Let me just let you in. Super excited. Okay. So excited, Juan. I cannot wait. So guys, how are you? So excited. Thank you for joining.
Hi,
Hello, my dear
I'm
Juan. How
good.
are you? I'm just well, I'm literally just so excited that everyone's tuning in and joining, and I'm just so happy, Juan. It's season 2, episode 1 of the Earth Angel Crystal Experience, and I'm so happy to have you back. So excited to be here. Juan, before I get into you and all your greatness, for those of you who are new to the Earth Angel Experience podcast, my name is Daisy. I am a medium. I am an energy healer. This all stems generationally from my mom's lineage. I created the Earth Angel Experience podcast last year. I think our first episode was sometime, actually no, in 2022. So in 2022 of October we aired, and I had no idea that this was going to take off and it was just going to resonate with so many of you. So I just want to say thank you all. This is a podcast that I created to really just help remove any stigma, any negative connotation towards our loving spiritual helpers and team of light on the other side. So I work very closely with the angelic realm and with just loving higher vibrational beings and ascended masters and guides. And this podcast is really just to interview folks from all walks of life who have had spiritual experiences, or who are mediums, or who consider themselves psychics or intuitives or healers in their own way and right. I believe we are all healers. I believe that we are spiritual beings having this beautiful human experience here on Earth. But the Earth Angel Experience podcast is really here just to shed and share light on all of that beauty that goes beyond the senses. So thank you again for everyone for tuning in. And now, Juan, my love, thank you and welcome back. How are you
I'm
doing?
doing well. It's a beautiful snow day. It's hella cold, but it's very beautiful outside. And it's nice to do a live on a snow day when I feel like everyone is cooped up and we're all in our warm corners of our homes.
Yes. And I was just saying before you got on how, despite the weather, I'm just excited that we're here for not only season 2, but that you're my first guest and we're having you back. And I really wanted you to come back on because I know, just with personal experience, for those of you guys who don't know, so Juan Francisco, he also works here at Earth Angel Crystal, and he does a whole bunch of amazing things on his own, within his own time. But I really wanted him back so that you guys can hear from him his experiences and his journey, since either working with Earth Angel Crystal or being here with Earth Angel Crystal, but mainly after his mentorship. So for everyone listening, I working with the spiritual side, working on your spirituality, is a journey. It's not a destination. And this is something that you're going to continue to develop and you're going to continue to evolve. And although you may feel that you already have a loving connection with your guides and your helpers, or that you're already very intuitive, I truly believe that to really be there for ourselves and for others, and even to build our connection with our own soul purpose and soul blueprint, it's so important to develop and study, whether that means you're picking up a book and reading, whether that means you're joining a course or a class, or you're going into mentorship. So Juan, I would just love to hear from you. How has your experience been since after you started working here, but also really after your
Yeah,
mentorship?
there's a reason I stepped into Earth Angel Crystal when I did. I think I stepped into Earth Angel Crystal the week or 2 weeks after you opened. And I just remember just loving your energy, and the energy of the space. It felt very different from most other crystal shops. You're not just a crystal. We are not just a crystal shop. Um, and I know I did like some PR work with you, and that was really fun. Like got NBC together, NBC New York to come into the shop. Um, and I think we started my
Yay.
mentorship in, I want to say August. Yeah, August makes sense. I think it was August because um, originally the goal, I guess, was we wanted to do an event together at Earth Angel Crystal, and we decided it was going to be a mediumship platform demonstration. And you had offered to do mentorship with me, and I had never done mentorship before. And I remember thinking, okay, this is going to improve my mediumship skills, period. But what I didn't realize, and what human Juan was not ready for, was it was going to improve my skill of honestly like liking myself more, loving myself more, and doing the healing work. And to be honest, I was at first I think you remember, I was pretty resistant because I'm like, what does this have to do with channeling the dead? If I'm channeling those who are deceased, my human self, I'm removing my human self, like I'm like a blank slate. And doing the mentorship with you made me realize that this is our vehicle that we have to maintain and take care of. Like we can get to our destination on like a quarter tank of gas, but that's taking a big risk. And having that full tank and being prepared, or as full of a tank as possible, there's just more clarity that we're going to get to our destination in the, let's say in the reading. I don't believe in destinations either, but just for the sake of the metaphor, we have to take care of this vehicle that we're in. And so our mentorship ended when I had, well, for now has ended when I had the mediumship event in October. And since then, there's been a lot of growth opportunities, as you know, and I'm an open book. I can talk about things in a respectful way here. But I feel like since the mentorship, I between you having a therapist and going through some challenging life experiences, you are such a huge component of where I am today and how much more I love myself today. And that's something that the mentorship taught me, was tapping into that inner child. And now when I make some decisions, or when I've made a decision I'm not too proud of, I think about my inner child. Like, what does my inner child think about that decision or that thing I'm about to do? So you've definitely helped me reframe as a human how to see my inner child and engage with my inner child. And as a medium, you've helped me to use that healing to make me a better communicator as a medium, and to make me a clearer channel too.
Well, Juan, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, for your words, for your kind words, and for saying truly heartfelt what you feel. It's just truly an honor. And I know that we're always very lovey dovey, and I can be like, well, thank you, Juan. And you'll say, thank you, Daisy. And I'm like, no, but I love you. And you're like, but I love you. But I truly want to say that it's truly just an honor to have met your spirit team, and to just to know how much they love you and how much that they're rooting for you, but mainly to watch your development from when you came in. You're a medium, but you wanted to develop more and have that stronger connection, and just witnessing you getting into your power, and even understanding, even if it's a little bit better, what that meant. It really stems back from healing your inner child and having that relationship with your inner child. what I believe in just on my journey with mediumship and with energy healing is that the purest form of energy comes from the heart center, from your heart chakra, which is the energy of pure love. And so when we are operating from pure love, whether we're trying to communicate with the other side or whether we're trying to help a client that's in front of us, what we're truly tuning into is the energy of love as we understand it within ourselves. And so when people are embarking on a mentorship with me or to development for just their life, you don't have to be a medium or a psychic or a healer per se in order to pursue mentorship, because these are life transformational tools that you take with you. It's about learning how to love yourself, learning how to respect yourself, learning how to listen to that inner child that maybe was neglected or maybe you've forgotten about because you're a certain age or certain situations or incidences had happened in your life and you're trying to maybe repress it or suppress those memories. But truly, when we get back to the inner child work, the inner healing work, and that love of our baby selves is when our connection to the other side just magnifies and amplifies, because now it's coming from a vibration of love. Does that resonate with you, Juan? Would you sum it up that
Yeah,
way?
it does. Because I also think about often in this work that we do, we talk about how much children and animals are so in tune to the spirit world because they're not conditioned. They haven't quite understood parental conditioning yet at a certain age. And it makes me think about like tapping into my inner child. It's tapping back to that part of me that isn't thinking too hard, that is just being himself before little Juan learn that, oh, you can't do that because people are watching you, or you can't say those things um, because if they sound crazy. So I think tapping into the inner child, it's tapping into that part of me that just welcomes whatever comes through, whatever happens. And that's important in a reading for me. And going to what you said about the heart center, yesterday I had a reading and something I've gone to the habit of because of our mentorship. Before our mentorship, when I would channel, I would try and get myself to receive things through my head. Like, give me thoughts, and I would focus so much on give me images, give me things to think, and then, my brain. And then through mentorship with you, I learned how to try and receive things through my heart. And it's not easy for someone like myself. Like I've struggled with anxiety, I overthink, I have OCD. Like there's so much snow falling on people's balconies. Sorry, because there's a big chunk of snow went boom on someone's balcony.
It's the
It
angels. It's
is.
the angels.
So for someone like myself who is very accustomed to overthinking and worrying about what people think, getting out of my head and going into my heart was pretty foreign for me. So ever since I learned how to channel through my heart center, my readings have become way deeper. It's not just they haven't been just about how did he know that? How did Juan know that? It's been more about wow, that message really lands and it's so healing. And yesterday I had this reading where I was doing that and at the end of the reading, the message that this soul had for this person, it's somebody that they didn't really get along with in real life, but they needed to hear this message. They were open to hearing this message and they needed to hear it. And I could just feel my heart. I was on the verge, I was becoming emotional. And it felt, I don't know if I'm just gonna say it felt good. It felt healing for me. And it's because I was so open with my heart.
And it's amazing that you're saying that, because you're right. What happens when we're in a mediumship reading or whether we're sending healing, it's intention, right? So when spirit just blends with us and they're just getting so close, what they're resonating to is that energy center of your heart of love. And then you can't help but feel that pure, magnified version of the infinite love that there is from the other side to us. And so I just want to say how proud I am of you, because you're right. When you began, you were very much into, and guys, when I say the word ego, I'm talking about the thinking mind. So it was very much like, what is the picture, what is the message, or what is, versus if we just allow ourselves to tune in to that silence and find that energy center, which in my case I'd like to work with solar plexus or heart, and we tune into the energy of the vibration that we're feeling when spirit starts approaching or they start getting closer within our energy field, and just listening and tuning into that energy rather than thinking what is the message, but how, why are you here, and how are we here to heal the other person? How can we sense healing? What is it that the person needs to understand or feel right now? And so, Juan, if you remember in our mentoring, I had mentioned to you, I said, Juan, that's great. The messages are great, but what does it feel like? What did that energy feel like? What did you receive? And that's when you paused, and that's when I can tell that you were understanding the assignment, the what it meant to fully blend, what it meant to fully get truly connected, so that it's not about the message, but what does that energy feel like? What are they telling you? What is the story? Can you, if you feel comfortable, share maybe an experience you had during your mentorship where that click happens, where it wasn't just, you realized it wasn't just about the message, but about the energy that you felt and the story behind it?
Yeah, it's actually, I won't go into detail to respect your privacy, but you had asked me to do a tarot card reading for you. And I had seen a card. What I had been used to was looking at cards when I would draw the cards for the reading and kind of like give like a two-sentence message from each card rather than absorb the card. And you had told me, yes, you're right, but go deeper. Like, what are you feeling as you're looking at that card? Because I had said one thing, like I mentioned a topic in your life that was pretty profound for you, but then I was going to go on to the next thing. And he said, go deeper with that. And when I did, we had a very powerful moment of connecting with each other. And I did feel, with tarot cards for me are mostly based on the physical plane. I do believe that our spirit guides can work through cards. So what I'm trying, when I say that I felt spirit was in the room with us at that moment when I went deeper, that's what I mean. Not for a mediumship reading, but for this card reading, I felt like they were guiding me to, they're helping me to look deeper into this card to give you the message that you were going, the deeper message you were going to hear. Could I share something that happened in this reading yesterday that is a good example of that too? And again, I won't go into detail because I want to
Yes.
respect the client's confidentiality, but I will say that there was a concern that this person had about their father not having gone to their wedding because their father had passed the month before. And she had told me that. I did not get that psychically or mediumistically. She had told me that. And then I started channeling her father and things were validating and coming through. The messages were important. And then I got this image of a bumblebee on a flower, like on the florals at the wedding, like a bumblebee. And at first I thought, my ego came in and thought, well, what if that's not validating? Maybe, what if there wasn't a bee on the flower at the wedding? So I just said, do bees mean something for you? And she said, well, they're following me. They follow me everywhere. And I love bees, but they don't mean something to me. But every time I'm smoking outside and they're coming around me, they're following me everywhere. And I said, okay. And I started breathing with it. And then I realized why her father was sharing this bee on a flower at the wedding. And I told her, the way the bees are always following you around in your life, your father was showing me a bee at your wedding. So just as much as the bees are always following you and annoying you, your father was very present at your wedding. And that's what he wants to emphasize for you, that he was there at your wedding. And she felt that was so important for her to hear. Now I could have stopped when she said, yeah, bees don't mean something to me, but they always follow me around. I could have stopped it there because I thought, okay, she's not mentioning her wedding. But it's not so important whether or not there was a bee at her wedding. It's just the way her father was trying to deliver the message that he's always present in her life. So that was a good example of me letting myself go deeper rather than stop at. I think validation with symbols and signs are very important in a reading. I think those are needed, but I don't think I should stop there. The message is just as important as someone saying, "Oh my God, how did you know that?" Like that's cool, but the message that heals and transforms somebody is really the meat of the reading.
Well, that's thank you for sharing. And it's interesting because now that, since your mentorship, we did exercises with tarot cards, and we've done exercises with channeling, and then we did exercises with bringing through messages from loved ones and guides on the other side. Of the three, have you felt a distinction within your development and with your clients, with your readings? And what would you say your difference is? So for those that are tuning in that might be new to the idea of mediumship or connecting to your loved ones on their side or energy healing. So I truly believe that any form, whether you consider yourself a tarot reader, a psychic, a medium, that's healing. So that's energy healing. You're just doing it in a different form, in a different light, in a different way. And so, Juan, I too can do tarot, but I prefer mediumship. And I know you know why I prefer mediumship, and I'll tell the audience why, but I would like to hear first from you, from your thought process. What are the different energies, if any, that you feel between a tarot reading, between a mediumship reading, or between channeling? Do you see that there's a difference? Is there one that you prefer over the other, and why?
After our mentorship, I definitely have a preference and I feel the difference. So I'll first say that I absolutely feel the difference between a card reading and a mediumship reading. I just had a consultation thanks to you. I do consultations now before readings. I had a consultation. I was explaining
Yay.
the difference between the two. And as I was explaining it, I realized, wow, I think I noticed that difference now more than ever. And the difference being that with a mediumship reading, I am raising my vibration to connect with someone's loved ones. And because there is nothing, I don't use anything physical to help me channel mediumistically. Some people use tarot cards to do mediumship, and I think that's really cool, and that's just fine. I prefer to just use my body and my soul to try and channel what comes through, and to do that, I feel like I have to really raise my vibration. Um, and with a tarot card reading, because people come to me for card readings to ask about life topics and physical world things like love, career, money, finance. I have this thing with my best friend. What should I say to them, or how should I navigate this friendship? And because it's purely based on the physical, there is to an extent, it's a little easier to do. That's my experience. I think it's easier to do a card reading than a mediumship reading. That being said, I have grown to prefer mediumship because I think because
Yay.
I think
I was
because
hoping
for
you would
me,
say
I mediumship is a challenge. It's not easy. And at the same time, I see the impact it can have on somebody. And that for me, life happens, things in life happen. And listen, having gone through a recent breakup, I'm so tempted to get a reading with somebody and everything. But it's like life happens, that we know. But when someone passes, the grief and the sense of loss could feel for somebody so like it's a bottomless pit. And I'm not saying I'm the person to save somebody from that or to be the only healer they'll ever have to help them with that. But if I can be a part of their journey to help them feel a little better about the relationship with their loved one who has passed, that means that's like I'm getting emotional thinking about it. To me, that is like the biggest honor in the world. And it's not to say that tarot card readings are less important. I still do them because I enjoy them. But in terms of my favorite experience between the two, I love mediumship because there is an opportunity to really help spirit have an impact on somebody. And to me, that is like so valuable.
thank you. I'm proud of you. And again, guys, I love all things spiritual. I'm not against tarot. My mom is a very, very strong tarot reader. I'm a fifth generation healer, so this stems from my mom's lineage. She's a medium, she's a psychic, so I get that energy. I just feel that my preference with mediumship is just above and beyond. I mean, no pun intended, right? But it's just above and beyond because the beauty of having either your loved one or an angel or a guide or a spiritual being to work so hard to go from their realm down to our energy field. So guys, remember, we're here on earth and this is a lower vibration. This is a lower vibrational energy than it is on the other side, which is a super higher vibrational energy. So for me, it's just an honor and a privilege, I feel, to be able to have someone working so hard to come down to our level, and for us to raise our vibration so that we're literally meeting them in the middle, hence medium. So I like to describe to my clients, a medium is like the bridge between the higher realms and the lower realms, and you're meeting in the middle. So the development of being able to raise your vibration and clear out those channels within ourselves to meet with spirit, and then have spirit come and say messages of encouragement and love, even if the person didn't have a great relationship with that particular spirit. But the loving messages that are coming through, but also the energy, the essence, to be able to describe what they like to eat or what they like to wear or what were their favorite things to do, and to be able to do that, I just think that that is the biggest blessing in the world. And of course, I am biased, right? This is what I do for work. But this is more than that. This is my life. And so, Juan, one of the questions I have for you is, so I know that you do a lot of things outside of your mediumship, outside of your practice, but after mentorship specifically, what have you felt has been the biggest impact in your life? Not just in your readings and not just your connection to spirit, but how has mentoring and development helped you on your journey here on earth? Because that's really important to talk about, is that you don't have to want to be a medium or a psychic or an intuitive healer to develop spiritually. So what is your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, when I started mentorship with you when I met you in May of 2023, and also when I started mentorship in August 2023, and for most of my life, honestly, I have been somebody who had a very complicated relationship with themselves. I I struggle I've struggled majority of my life with body image dysmorphia and not feeling good enough on that level. Also not feeling good enough as a gay man. I grew up with a caregiver who was not very nice about it. Sometimes, well, I'll just leave it at that. And and also growing up, I was a certain size as a kid, and kids had things to say about it. Some adults in my life made comments about what it means to be gay that were not very encouraging. And so I grew up with this idea that I am here to be perfect, to make somebody else happy, to get the straight A's, to look good in front of my uncles and aunts, to hide the fact that I got a B on my report card, just to I was here for the service. I learned that I was here to serve a caregiver and make them proud of me without ever actually being considered about what would make me proud of me or what calls my heart for what I want to do in my life. And so when I met you, I was still operating in the subconscious from this place. And I have definitely struggled all my life so far with loving myself unconditionally. And so when I met you and I learned that we were going to talk about the inner child and some self-love, I thought, oh, I don't know about that. I don't have to love myself to be a good medium. And I don't think we have to be perfect in loving ourselves to be a good medium, but I think we have to at least be working on it. And so you taught me that. And since our mentorship, again, you're one component amongst several other components in my life that have helped me, but you're a huge component. And having gone through this recent breakup, coming out of it, I'm still healing from that. I'm so proud to say that I've come out of 2023. I've come out of a very recent breakup, loving myself, and I've never loved myself ever this way before. And something I've been telling some people in my social circles is, I'm not I'm okay being single, romantically single. Um, I have my feelings about it, but you know what? I'm single and I love myself. Never in my life have I ever been single and loving myself. And I'm excited to experience what that means. And so what I'm bringing that up, my romantic life, because your mentorship, yes, it helped me with my mediumship skills, but it was giving me tools for living a life where I love myself beyond mediumship. And I'm super grateful for that. I mean, I'm still like, I have my times when I struggle. I can I curse?
I don't know because
Okay,
then
I'll, I'll
I
just
don't
say
want
I'll
Instagram
put
to
it.
ban us. So
I'll
say
censor
bad word.
myself. Sometimes I feel like poo poo, and sometimes I feel like I'm it. That's how I'll say it. There's a phrase I say on my podcast, and it sounds way better than that. But sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough, and sometimes I feel like I'm the best version of myself that I am. More often than not these days, it's the latter. I used to feel the majority of the time that I didn't feel good enough. But nowadays, I feel way more like, yeah, I'm good enough for myself and I have worth and value. And sometimes the days are not easy, sometimes they are. But I'm proud to say that the majority of my time in my life right now, I feel like, yeah, I'm good enough. I have something to offer people, whether it's in a relationship, friends, I got to stick up for myself. That's what mentorship with you, that is what helped me. That's how it has helped me to apply what I learned in mentorship to the rest of my life, not just mediumship.
Oh well, Juan, I just want to say thank you so much for that.
You're
That
part of what
truly
changed
means a
my
lot, but
life.
it's
Sorry to
truly a
interrupt you. Like, you
testament to
helped me change my
your
life.
growth.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, Juan. See, now you're gonna get me emotional. um I just, again, it's just a testament to you and your development and your growth. And so I'm just so proud of you, for, beating the odds, and just going against the grain and just really deciding for yourself that this is something that you're going to heal for yourself and you're going to do this for yourself. And that's a big step and that's huge. And that goes beyond your readings with your clients, and that goes beyond the messages that come through, because that is exactly right. When we start working on ourselves, it's not to say that we're perfect, because we aren't. It's not to say that we don't have our own challenges, because we do, even as mediums or psychics or energy healers. But what it means is that when you fall, you never fall as low as you did before you went through your development and your training and your studies. And so I just want to say how proud I am of you for how far you've come, but also for allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Because remember, in the vulnerability, there's that strength and there's that truth, and then there's that courage, right? So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing. Um, I guess my next question to you is, when you say that that love that you have for yourself has just magnified, what were the practices that you have done? And so maybe this is like a little mediumship test as your mentor to see what you've taken from it. But what have you done outside of mentorship? Because there's mentorship, but then there's the integration, what I like to call integration, which is the work that you do outside of seeing me and being here where I'm watching you and I'm guiding you like a hawk, right? um, but what have you done in your own home practice or outside practice for yourself that you felt helped develop that love for yourself and that strength and courage for you to say, you know what, that may have been my past, but this is my presence and this is how I choose to move forward?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the first thing that comes to mind that is very recent that I'm gonna say you assigned to me as homework, is the Florida water bath. Oh my gosh, so you had told me to. Well, this is what I do. I sit in what I remember you telling me to do. I sit in the tub and I start filling it up with the hottest water that I can bear. I love hot water. Filling up with hot water, and then once it gets like midway at the tub, I pour in half a bottle of Florida water, agua florida. I put some rosemary, like 10, 12 drops of rosemary essential oil, and I have my Hemi Morphite. Let me get it out, this baby girl. This Hemi
I
that got this from Earth
love
Angel Crystal.
her. her energy is
This crystal is so magical. But I put this at the base of my feet at the tub with a little votive candle or a white candle. And I let the water fill up and then I stop it and I just sit in this beautiful, warm, amazingly smelling water. And I just kind of, I don't want to, I don't know if it's I don't want to say it's meditation because I am my eyes are open and I'm still like very conscious and aware and thinking of things. But I'm just letting myself just relax and breathe in the sense. And I'm imagining in a chakra balancing that you did with me, you did for me. I saw Mother Mary, Jesus, and I felt God in the room. And I go back to that moment and I call them back. And I feel them with me. And I've done this bath 2 times in the last month. I've been doing it bi-weekly. And girl, I'm gonna get some more Florida water from you. I'll just say that. It's a year ago I would have said like, what's the point of doing that? To be honest, when you first said to me to do this, I'm like, okay, and I did it. Oh my gosh, it's just an amazing feeling because I think not only is it a way of, oh, and I forgot to say, when I drained the water, you had told me to do this, and I love doing this. Draining, I let the water drain. I'm still sitting in the tub, and I sit in the tub until all the water drains out. And I say, I release all the negative energies that do not serve me down the drain. And it just feels amazing. And so, what I wanted to say before was doing that exercise, that ritual, it's not just something that smells really good. And I coming out of that bath, I'm like, ay, que rico, I smell like but it's also, and that to me, that's self-love, treating myself to something that smells good and I feel good in the water. But it's a way of mentally releasing the burdens I have in my mind. They're not gone, but they feel way less heavy. And that has helped in the past month. After our mentorship, well, there are things I used to do before our mentorship that I still do after our mentorship, but I do them with a different lens because of our mentorship. So, like, I go on walks with my dog and I treat those walks as like a meditative exercise. I try to leave my phone in my pocket, not look at it. Sometimes I listen to music and I talk to my guides. And honestly, something that is a very real life practice is in the relationship I was in and in other relationships in my life, I've learned how to activate my throat chakra more and speak my mind in a gentle and respectful way more. That's something I used to never do. I hate to be mean to my past self, not former self, my past self, but sometimes I would act like a floor mat. I would let people walk over me. I would let people just have their way, or I wouldn't voice my concern. And this for the last year, because of our mentorship, it's helped me to be more vocal about my needs and what I feel I deserve. And in terms of meditation, I still do not have a consistent meditative practice. I have definitely before my readings, I have extended the amount of time I meditate before reading, and it's made a world of a difference. But when I met you, I used to meditate 5 minutes before reading. No longer. I need way more time now, way more time. And the last time I did a reading, I had my Heme Morphite like sitting in my lap while before the reading. Um, and so with meditation, that is still for me a tough part that I'm trying to crack. And sometimes I wonder if um, you won't like hearing this, Daisy, but maybe I'm just not primed to meditate every day. I don't know. It kind of brings me back to when I was a Catholic growing up, and I used to felt like I had to do things to get closer to God. And I guess I get kind of concerned that if I force myself to meditate, will I end up resenting it? But I'm figuring that out. I don't have the answer to that.
But do you see where these thoughts, so where are these
Inner
thoughts
child
coming from? So
and
now we're going
ego.
into like lecture mode, right? Inner child and ego. So this is coming from the lack and the limiting beliefs that because we felt a certain type of way as a child and we felt forced to do something that maybe we didn't want to do. And so you're now equating it or making it the same thing. Like, well, if I meditate, I feel a certain way, I feel obligated to do this. And so now it's just pushing you away from it. What I would say is for you to just remember that meditation doesn't have to be om, and it doesn't have to be that, or you laying down for 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be that you have to be completely quiet and completely in the perfect place at the perfect time. What it means is that meditation can be the act of walking your dog. Meditation can be the act of getting into your bath and doing a ritual. Meditation can be the act of swimming, of boxing, of exercising. So what meditation is just that moment where we're able to allow our ego, which is the thinking mind, to get quiet, and then we allow our hearts and what's happening on the inside to, we're able to hear it more. So what I would just suggest, one, is just to not get into the act of having to meditate, but rather doing activities or things that resonate with you, that make you feel peaceful and harmonious, because that is meditation. So a lot of people think meditation has to be the perfect quiet environments, or the candles and flowers. It's great if you can do that, but you can also meditate on a train. You can also meditate in a concert. If you're feeling stressed, you can remove yourself and go to the bathroom and set a little quiet time for yourself, gather your breath, center yourself. That's meditating, right? So it's just about getting back into the silence. So I would say that if you're feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit nervous about the act of meditating, then try something else. Maybe try when you're walking your dog and getting back into that centering breath that you have, or journaling. So I know that in our mentorship, I had mentioned the importance of journaling and the importance of writing down either triggers or writing down things that make you happy, or things that you're proud of yourself for. So would you be able to speak a little bit about that, about the transformation that you felt, or the shift in energy from the act of journaling?
Yeah, during our mentorship, I think writing my feelings down definitely, it actually, now that I think about it, it kind of made me feel like they didn't have, my feelings did not have as much power over me, because I'm seeing it on paper, like, oh, it's just a thing that I feel, you know? Um, and I think it helped me sort my thoughts also, because my brain, I go like 100 miles a minute with my brain, and I overthink, and I think writing things down, it helped me just sort my thoughts a bit. And when it came to the inner child, because I remember journaling about, like, journaling to my inner child, and that was very uncomfortable at first, but then the more we got, I mean, the more we did it together, the more I did it, it started to feel a little more comfortable. And it was that journaling, thanks to that journaling exercise, like writing letters to my inner child, I am in pretty, not as frequent as I would like to. I want to make more of a practice of this. But I'm in pretty frequent communication with my inner child, maybe on the daily, or I feel like I'm always thinking of my inner child because of those journal entries. And I'm very glad that excuse me, I'm very glad that I kept going with the journaling, even though it felt uncomfortable. But because of it now, it's like almost second nature. Think about, what does my inner child think of that? How does my inner child feel after hearing that from somebody? The other day, a couple weeks ago, I went to a party, like a party setting, and I came out of it feeling kind of yucky. And I actually asked myself, what does my inner child feel? Baby Juan feel? What does teenager Juan feel? What does the ego feel? And then what does, like, adult, like mature adult Juan feel? Like my own internal parent for my inner child. And it's interesting because my inner child felt very uncomfortable after that party. My teenager felt very, like, in a shallow way, very validated from that party. And my ego kept saying, go back for more validation, go back for more validation. And I was walking home thinking of this, and I was like, wow, the fact that these different parts of me feel this way, but my inner child is the one that feels uncomfortable. I need to take care of him. And now I know maybe I should think twice about doing that thing again, or going to that party again. Um, because of the journaling exercises and the letters to my inner child, I'm doing things like that now, and it's very, very helpful.
Thank you, Juan. What would you say to those that are listening that are ignoring their inner child? Can you explain in your own words what you feel an inner child is? What is an inner child for those who don't know? And from your, just based off of what you said, but why this is so important. And again, you don't have to want to have aspirations to be a medium or a psychic or intuitive healer. But how is this important to your life, your soul journey here on earth? What would you say to those that are listening and watching now?
Yeah, the inner child for me, the way I define it for myself and hopefully help someone else, is your inner child is the truest and purest part of you. It's who you really are. It's that it's that version of who you are before anyone told you you're weird or you're too much this or you're too that or you're not enough of this. It's that part of you that remembers I know that there's also, I want to like disclaim that there are people who have unfortunate memories of abuse as a very, very young child. And I would say it's that part of you that's that's before that experience even. Um, just that intrinsic part of you that is your most authentic self. And this is very like psychology 101, I guess. I'm not a psychologist, but something that a parent used to joke with me like, oh, psychologists always blame the mother. They always blame the father. It's always the parent's fault. And they would say it in a way that was very critical. And what I've learned in therapy is I wouldn't say it's their fault, but the way we see the world, how we understand communicating with other people, other humans in the world, the way we see politics, religion, the way we live life and understand things is due in large part to the people who raised us. And so the inner child is for me that part of me that is my most authentic self and also at a very early time in my life absorbed all that information. And so when I get upset by something today, like especially romantic relationship for me, it has the biggest triggers more than any other setting in my life. So like in a romantic relationship, if a partner says something to me that really insults me, but I tell a friend, my friend's like, that's not a big deal. I'm like, now, some things are truly insulting and we have to, speak up. But there are some things that partners have said to me that really were not a big deal. But I took it as like, and that's when I know that now I know that there's my inner child had a problem with that because when Juan was a baby, when Juan was a child, somebody said something similar to him and he was told that was a bad thing or that oh they said that about you, they don't like you.
Right.
So the inner child work is almost like reprogramming myself to consider that, we're all walking around with inner children within us. How do do you ever see that Pixar movie? The one where like the little girl's feelings are working in her brain. I forgot what it was called. It's like sadness and happiness. You would love
I
it.
don't know.
So it's a Pixar movie where
Oh, really? What is it? Yeah,
I forgot what it's called, but it's like in this little girl's brain, her brain like there's like a sadness character, happiness, joy, anger, and they're all fighting sometimes. So like, oh, she's angry now. Boom, no, she's not angry. Don't make her angry. And so we're all walking around with all these feelings within us and all these inner children. Our inner children, my inner child is reacting to your inner child all the time. We're just not conscious of it. And so this is a very controversial opinion, but when I think of like some of the most evil people in the world, this does not excuse their behavior, but I think that person was once a baby. That person was once a little boy, a little girl, a little child. Doesn't excuse them. We should hold them accountable. Inside Out. That's the name of the movie in the chat. Inside Out.
Oh,
It's a great
oh, Inside
watch it on
Out.
Disney
I
Plus.
haven't
It's a
I
great,
haven't
great
seen it.
movie. So even the most cruel people in the world we can think of, they were once a little boy or little girl. And I think, what did that little boy, little girl, little child experience to have them do something insane like that to somebody else? And it does, again, we should still hold those people accountable for their actions, but that's the frame of mind I have now. And that's what I constantly remind myself of is that I am interacting with people who are reacting to me, I'm reacting to them from this inner child place. I know I just talked for a very long time, but I feel like there's so much to say about inner child. And so, yeah.
No, and I I appreciate it because what I took from what you said is that, and this is what I believe. So as children, we're these innocent beings, and what we know is our caregivers, and our caregivers are not perfect. However, they too have limiting ideas and beliefs and projections. And so what happens is with the caregivers or the people that you are brought up with, their limiting beliefs, their lack, their fears, their negativity, whatever, even the positives, that then becomes your programming. And so what happens to people is that if you are brought up in a household that's not ideal, that's not conditions that's favorable to love or favorable to harmony or favorable to expressing one's truth or favorable to loving yourself or caring for yourself or standing up for yourself, as you grow older, as you mature, you're stuck with these limiting ideas and beliefs. And so the inner child is really the baby version of yourself, and doing inner child healing is speaking to your baby child self and letting your baby child self know, hey, it's not your fault. Hey, this was what was going on around you. This isn't because of you. These things didn't happen because of you, and really reprogramming those limiting thought beliefs, which is challenging, right? It's not to say that that's an easy thing to do, especially when you love the people that raised you, the people that took care of you, that were there for you in your entire life. But it's understanding that they too are in limitation, and it's understanding that sometimes it's not their fault, it's what they knew, it was the best that they can do at that moment for you. And so what I hope, and I know that you have received from the mentorship and that you're continuing to learn, because again, it's not a destination, it is a journey, is that working on your inner child is something that's ongoing. And that whenever you go through your relationships, or you go through your any kind of relationship, it could be sexual, it could be friendship, it could be within your own family, is just to know where people are coming from, right? And is to try to understand that that's not your energy, that's their energy, and for you to discern what it is that you need to do, and for you to keep moving forward. Because it doesn't make a sense for us to try to keep moving forward, but then you're looking back at all the things that are wrong, or all the things that you wish to change, or all the things that no longer resonate with you. So, and that is the healing, right? That's the healing. And so I appreciate everything that you said, and your idea of it. And I just hope for everyone that's tuned in and that's listening, and that you understand that this is a journey. This isn't a destination. And this is stuff that you can't just say, oh, let's just like say it never happened and move on. But rather look at it and say, okay, I may not have been perfect here, or this person may not have been perfect here, but I'm ready to heal, and I'm ready to go forward, and I'm ready to live my life to my greatest ability, in my truth, in my power. And just know that all those people that are going to be with you are going to be with you because they love you for who you are. You don't have to be anyone else but yourself. And so I'm just, truly, truly grateful to hear how far you've come, Juan, in your development, in your mentorship, but how, and not just for your work or your mediumship or your tarot readings, but for your life, because these are life tools. And this is, I truly believe that when people decide to work with their spirit team, when people decide to work with their angels, with their guides, with their helpers, what you're essentially doing is saying, when things get too much for me or too heavy for me, I allow you to help me. I allow you to help co-create this life for me, because we are not doing this alone. We have, even when people pass on the other side, they're still here. They're still with us. They're watching us. They're rooting for us. They're supporting us. And so for everyone just listening, I just want you to know that anyone can develop their relationship with their spirit team. It's not scary. If you're operating from a place of unconditional love and light, if you're operating from a place of pure intention, that's the energy you're going to attract. So you're going to attract that higher vibrational energy. If you're operating from a place of fear, or what you see on TV, how scary spirits are portrayed, or you're working negatively towards negative energy, negative vibrations you're sending to other people, now you're more inclined to attract lower vibrational energy. But for the most part, that's really not the case. I believe that we are good people. It's just that some people have a little bit more challenges than others. But what I would suggest is what's the only thing that can happen if you're trying to build your relationship with your spirit team? It's just going to be love and support. And so, Juan, I know we're like heading towards that hour. Is there any last minute words or anything that you would like to say either to the audience or share your
Yeah,
thoughts on anything?
I want to share a really quick example of inner child work. So it's a more lighthearted example, but I started going out by myself to like museums and to the movies and restaurants when I had my first breakup, like at 21. And at first it was very uncomfortable. Fast forward to this past year, I still like to go out by myself. I enjoy it. But sometimes there's that voice in my head that goes, people are going to think you're weird if you're by yourself in a restaurant. Why are you going to do that? Oh, you're lonely? Like you're alone today going out? That's not good. And then because of the inner child work, now I realize that my inner child wants to go out, but my ego is the one that's saying, and that comes from the caregivers, society growing up, it's not good to be by yourself. And so my adult Juan, I'm calling my adult Juan, as my therapist says too, takes inner child by the hand and says, you want to go to a museum? Let's go to a museum. And let me tell you, throughout my past 10, 15 years of doing that, the people I've met by myself, the things I've experienced by myself, like it's opened my life up. And so I want to take that and attribute it to your spiritual journey. Take a chance, just like do what calls you. And it doesn't have to be mediumship, doesn't have to be cards, it could be anything else. It could just be wanting to be your best self, which is enough. Just do what calls you, take some risks. If it's a little uncomfortable, as long as you're not hurting or harming yourself or anyone else, just do it. Life really is too short to worry about what people think. And if people think a certain way, what is it to you? They're not paying your bills. They're not eating the food you make. You're not eating the food they make. Like it's hard, it's easier said than done, but really almost like daring yourself to do the uncomfortable thing when you know it's going to be to your benefit, it like catapults you into more growth, and it's really helped me. And because of the inner child work, I feel like I'm more in tune with that part of me that feels scared but that wants to do the thing. Like I'm in this theater program, same thing. It's like I was nervous to do it, but you know what? And
I can't wait to see you, by the way.
that's my
I'm going to be
that,
at the front row.
but see that
What?
theater, this theater
Casey, I'm in
program,
the theater.
that's my
I'm
inner
going to embarrass
my
you.
inner child has always wanted to be a performer, a dancer, a singer, an actor, and there were things in my life that told me you can't do that, doesn't make any money, so I didn't do it. So now I'm like, you know what? My adult Juan is going to tell little Juan, let's go do a play. Let's go dance. Let's dance at home by ourselves to do some cardio. Let's do some music video dance. Let's do it. Who cares? Like, make yourself happy. Make your inner child happy. Your inner child will thank you.
Oh, Juan, thank you so much. Thank you again, for being here. Episode 1, season 2. This just means a lot for me. I am so excited to this be in our second season, but mainly to have you on as our first guest and to see your transformation and to hear your story and your journey and you just being open and honest and really just allowing yourself to develop and grow and be okay with that. And I think that's a lot of people feel like they need to be at a certain place at a certain time, or they're a certain age and they should already have all these things checked off. When in reality, what it is that we're going to continue to be on this journey together. And the best way and the most harmonious way is to go through this journey is with self-love, self-compassion, and to allow yourself to just be who you are. Be who you are. It's not about what other people think of you. It's not about other people's projections or limiting beliefs, but rather for you to live your most authentic life, authentic self, and surrounding yourself with people who are going to respect you and support you on that journey. So Juan, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to support you on your journey. It's an honor for me. I love you very much. I wish you nothing but love and success and prosperity, enjoying all that good stuff. And I will be screaming in the audience for you,
I
and you
know.
will be hearing my voice. So I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Juan, and I can't wait for the next episode. I love
Thank
you
you, Daisy.
guys.
Love
Thank you,
you. Bye,
Juan.
everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.